Yo, what's up, guys, and welcome to the first episode of the PSGL season that I'm gonna take you through. As you can see the placements in your screen, I got placed in F4, and every week I'm gonna try and make a video about the race that we have, and this was the first race of the season. As you can see the grid, very good grid, a lot of guys, familiar guys of course in the league racing scene, and a very nice grid to play against. Very happy and thankful that I got placed in F4. But on this day, on this Monday, there was an update and the whole game got changed exactly on the first day of this, where the race was. And as you could see there in the qualifying, it is gonna rain in 10 minutes time. So I just made this setup, or my friend made this setup, Steven made this setup for this race. I changed it a tiny bit, but as you can see, for the race it's apparently gonna rain. So you can see there's gonna be light rain in 30 minutes and then heavy rain after. So I upped the downforce on the setup. As you can see here, I changed the setup a little bit, made it less aggressive, the suspension as well. So just so I could handle the rain and could be faster in the rain. Then going out for my first qualifying session of this season, I was pretty excited. I still thought, the downforce is higher, but the setup is more or less the same. It shouldn't hurt that much in the qualifying to have a little more downforce. But of course, we don't have much time. In 10 minutes it's gonna rain, so either we only have one or we have two runs. So let's go for our first run then. As you can see here, you want to brake at 70 meters, turn in, and we do hit turn 1 pretty nicely in my opinion. Of course, because of the higher downforce, we're probably gonna get a lower first sector. It is a 16.2 high. Yeah, you actually want to do a 16.1. Going into this corner, you can see we're a little bit hesitant on the steering. We don't quite nail it. Of course, with the more downforce you have to brake. You can brake way later, which is why you can see here I did not practice with a high downforce setup, and that is why the braking corners I'm braking a little bit too much in the corners, which loses me a lot of time. Then the sector split is a 45.3. It's just way off what you would normally do. I did in practice, I think my PP was a 4.4, or maybe a little bit lower, but I can't remember. It's 2 weeks later now. But we cross the line and we do a 1.5.1, and it's just not a good lap. I did consistently 4.6s, and then we're gonna go through our next lap, our second lap. As you can see, it's way darker now and we don't nail sector 1. The first turn there is very hard. You don't want to hit the curb too much, and you can see we just lose almost 2/10, and it's an awful first sector. This corner we don't make up enough time, and then we have to make up for it in the rest of the lap, which I knew I could because the lap was so shit. Then again here, we're gonna brake very late. Missed the apex there, but still gain slightly some time again. Into these corners there was a lot of time, and here we're actually gonna gain a lot of time back, and we do a 45.3 again in the second sector. Then going through the last couple of corners, we are now in 17th position, which is awful, of course. Going through the last corner, we're not even up by that much, but we mess up the last corner, and you can see the first drops of rain, if you saw it, flash on the screen. And as we go into the pits, the rain is gone and we have only set one lap, and it was an awful lap with the higher downforce setup, and we do a 1.5.1, which actually puts us 19th place, the worst position. Well, one of the worst position that you could start. And then we're gonna check here. It is actually gonna be completely dry, and I'm gonna show the screen again. It actually said only 3% chance of rain. So it said it was gonna rain, but it said only 3% underneath, which just means that it's not even gonna rain. And I didn't even know that was a thing. I never looked at the percentages. So now I have a way too high downforce setup for this race, and I'm gonna be a snail down the straights. But still, we're gonna make the best of it. I thought, let's do something different then. Let's start on the mediums. You normally want to start on the hards and go to the mediums. But let's just start on the mediums. Let's just try something different. Hope for an early safety car or something. And we might even get something out of this race. Then, the lights are gonna go on here for this first Grand Prix of the season. Lights are out and away we go. The initial start wasn't that great, but then we get an amazing launch. And look at that, we're already up to 15th position. Then into turn 1, someone gets shoved off the track. And we gained some more position and someone is lagging like crazy in front of me. Luckily, we get through safely. Up to 13th place, we're gonna go down the inside of LRB here, also on the mediums. His internet was a little bit shaky there, as you can see him on the left hand side. But we get better traction and we are in front of him. Oh, we are actually not. But we're gonna outbrake him here. I have no clue what's happening, but we do outbrake him there. Now we're on the outside of the Boeselade. And can we make the move in here? It's a pretty hard overtaking spot. We do have more grip on those medium tires. And we're gonna go round the outside of the Boeselade. Nice move. And we're up to P11. P19 to P11 before the lap is finished. Great first lap. And I was pretty surprised that this high downforce setup was working. Even though we were using a lot of ERS. And you can see the straights. We have to use a lot of ERS on the straights now because of the high downforce, and we don't gain enough back. So in the corners we're actually really quick, but you can see in the straights I just have way less downforce and I have to use a lot of ERS to keep people behind, which is what you're gonna see here. Now we're behind Fleddy. Fleddy is my QRT teammate. I'm also in QRT, and if you're in the same team, you're obviously not gonna race each other as hard as you would normally. Of course, a little bit more respect towards each other. We have not respect per se, but you guys would know what I mean, I think. And so we're in P11, and here you can see someone has spun out, and we are actually move up 2 positions, and we're actually in P9. We are now in the points after 5 laps. Block here makes a mistake. Fleddy gets past him, but you can just see my straight line speed is so low. I'm using ERS. I'm not even gaining on these guys with slipstream with 3/10 behind. Normally you would really gain a lot of time back, and here you can see Block go deep again. Can we make the move? We want to go down the inside, but Block blocks us off very nicely. So now we're behind Block and we're very close, and you can see here he just has not enough speed on the apex for me, and I was just going too fast. I slightly tapped him, completely my fault. I apologize to him and I'm sorry for that, but I really didn't expect him to spin out that quickly after that light of a tap. It was such a light tap, I didn't even feel anything, and he just went. And unfortunately that moves us back down to P11. We lose the DRS there. The whole DRS train has now broken up because of that, and we are in P11 with even less battery. Now we outbrake ourselves, trying to ask Jeff what our vehicle condition is. We go over the curb, we get a horrible exit, and now Macho has passed us, and you can see my straight line speed again. It's just awful, and there's nothing I could do. I thought trying to outbrake him, but you can see he blocks us off, which is all fair. I should have just backed out of that initially. So we are now back in P12, and as you can see, we move on to lap 9, and you can see here someone sending it down my inside. I don't have any ERS left. I'm struggling a lot because without ERS on this track in the DRS train, you're just a sitting duck, not much you can do. But here you can see Macho outbraking himself, and he spins someone out in front of him. He gets damage because of it, and you will see him go into the pits at the end of this lap. So we have Jan now behind us very closely with 3 seconds on his tally, of course. We are now currently, I think, with 1 warning running. And as you can see here, Macho going into the pits. I have to watch out there if someone else goes into the pits. I really don't like that pit entry. Also in this league, you actually have to maintain your 2 wheels or 4 wheels inside the white lines. But here you can see we were almost running out of the Bouzelades DRS, and then we outbrake ourselves. We brake too late. We go wide, and this is why Jaum, also without our ERS, is just gonna be able to overtake us quite easily. And we move down to P11 again, losing another position. Yeah, not much I could do. I was just trying to hold it off and go and try to use as much of the DRS terrain here as I could, because passing people on the straight was going to be so hard. Now that the Bouzelade has went off track, I thought there was going to be an opportunity, but unfortunately there wasn't. We do brake later. You can just tell that we can brake so much later, also on these medium tires instead of the hards. As the mediums were dropping off a little bit at this point, I could feel it, that the hards were, it was kind of getting to a point where the hards were getting equally quick, at least a little bit closer. So just hard to judge, because of course I was running higher downforce, and then it's very hard to judge what's gonna happen. But lap 11, you can see Milan here spun out, and we move up another position. We are up to P10 now, and again we are in the points, and coming from 19th position, I would take any points. Also with Jaum, with his 3 seconds, it move us up even more. So I'm just gonna try and hold off Gustav here, but we don't have any ERS. He has those hard. I have to brake a little bit earlier because of the Bouzelade. And we are actually able to defend our position. It looks like Gustav struggled a little bit on that exit there, which is really hard to get right, as you will see later in this race. Now that LRP there goes wide, we sense an opportunity, and we're actually gonna go around the outside here of LRP, also on the same strategy as me, of course. So we again go up to P9 now. Again, it's looking good. I was pretty happy, even though I was, of course, not happy with the game, telling me that it was gonna rain, even though I should have looked at the percentage. Something I learned and I didn't know before. You can see my horrible pit entry there as we go onto the hards in lap 15 here. And we come out of the pit, as you can see in the top left hand side, about 6.7 seconds behind latest. Then we're gonna move on to lap 18, where you're gonna see here why this is such a hard exit. Here we go onto the power. I thought we had enough stability to go full throttle, but unfortunately we lost the car, and we lose about 4 seconds here. You can see LRB is gonna be right on our back, and we're gonna try and pull out of his DRS again, which is really hard on this track, but we do have more downforce. Maybe we can get close to it at the end, so I'm gonna use some overtake. Maybe looking back, it should have been better to hold off. I was actually, yeah, maybe not use ERS and use him, but it wouldn't even matter, because you can see now that Milan in that same lap retires from the session, and it results in a VSC, which directly changes into a safety car. And of course with us just pitted. There in this game you don't have fresh mediums or hards. You only have one set of mediums and hards, which means that we have to stay on these hards, and everyone who was on the hard medium strategy is now able to go to the mediums easily until the end, and they're gonna be way quicker, and we are completely out of our old position because they have a free pit stop under the safety car, and we are now in P12, as you can see. So starting the safety car here, listen to the sound. There's the sound glitch now, which is just awful. And then going into turn 1, you can see we brake, we turn in too early, and we go over the curb, we spin out, and we're actually taking LRB with us. Again, sorry to him as well, and we actually spin out. And I don't know if it was just the sound. It's easy to blame it on the sound, but everyone had it, and I don't know what it was. Just made a big mistake. I spun out, and it got me 3 seconds as well. Then in lap 24 I thought, I'm pretty done with this. The chances of another safety car are pretty slim, and even if there's a safety car, I still have 3 seconds, and I still have to gain about 7 positions to even get any points. So I retired from the session, and unfortunately that is gonna be the end of my first race in PSGL F4. Some positive to take from this race, as my pace was pretty good. I made some nice moves, especially that start, that first lap was pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with that, but of course not happy with that rain. Learned some things, and of course this was round 1 in PSGL. Next week I'm gonna miss, which is the Miami Grand Prix, and I will not be able to attend round 2, but I will be back for round 3, which is going to be Spa. I will put that video in your screen right now when that is uploaded. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and smash that like button, and I'll see you guys next time.